Gotcha. All right, I'm still out here at my mom's house. It's what, the 26th? Yeah, it's the day after Christmas. Um, I just sitting here and I've been watching some videos and stuff, and I just decided to go live for a second. I've disabled comments because people join in. It'd be one thing if you joined in and started talking about the subject that I'm talking about, but people come and join in and trying to make the thing about themselves, and then asking questions way off topic, and then I get off topic, and then people are too busy talking about my smoking habits and stuff like that, and that's just got nothing to do with anything. When I'm talking about the universe and the Boltzmann brain and the heat death of the universe and the cycle of life of the universe, how much I smoke pot has got nothing to do with it. I could be when I stop making when I stop making sense, then you can talk to me about how much I smoke. If my eyes are rolling and I'm still making sense and I can barely keep my eyes open, but I'm talking about the Boltzmann brain because Boltzmann was a scientist and whatever, it doesn't matter, does it? I could be fried out of my gourd. If I'm making sense, what difference does it make what I'm taking? The only time it matters what I'm taking is if I'm up here going, and apples are sometimes people, but people are sometimes not apples because apples and oranges can't be compared. Then I'm insane. And then you guys, hey man, you need to stop smoking so much. When my senses don't make sense, then start. But anyways, this is about relationships, and that's one thing that I was watching. And there's so much back and forth between. There's a lot of pro men groups. There's a lot of pro women groups. There's a lot of women being pro men, and they're being called pick me's. And there's a lot of guys that are considering themselves feminists that are being considered the same way. What's happening is that everyone's doing a lot of talking and no one's listening. For example, just a quick example. There was a video and there was a girl and she was talking about how come when I'm all dolled up and everything, I don't ever get compliments and stuff. But when I finally get the courage to walk out the door in just sweats and no makeup, all the guys hit on me. One, when you're made up, you look like you're probably going somewhere and you probably don't want to be bothered by a bunch of guys who are hitting on you. And believe it or not, guys are trying, some guys, good guys are trying to be more respectful to women. And so if they see you made up or if they see like you're going somewhere, a good guy won't bother you. A bad guy's going to bother you no matter. You're in pumping gas. You know what I mean? You can be lighting a fire. You can be you can be delivering a baby. And the guy is still going to come up and be like, so what are you doing after this? When you're done delivering this baby, do you want to go make one? Because they're not good people. You know what I mean? They're just not good people. The average guy, I know myself, I don't like makeup. I consider makeup, the reason they call it that is because you're trying to make up for the fact you have no personality. Sorry if that strikes a little home. Now, sometimes I get it because this world is very judgmental, especially towards women. So I get it. But like, if you're sitting around the house and you can't sit around the house without like looking in the mirror, this is my face. I don't have any makeup on. There's nothing I can do. The best I can do is shave. You know, to get rid of all. You see how this is just? I mean, it's just balding up here. So in order way to look like I'm not 50 years old, like I am 48 years old, the only way to do that is to shave my head completely. I have no choice in that, but that's the best I got. I have no makeup to hide this ugly face. I have this tooth is gone, so it's like this is a fake tooth, but I could take it out. You know, I could pop it out. See? Pop that fucker out. That's because this one was really, you see how this one's twisted? This one was really jacked up and touching this one and this one where I couldn't get floss to it. And somewhere about like right around COVID, it just cracked and broke. I just couldn't do anything about it. So eventually I got pulled and they gave me a replacement. And so I walked around for at least 3 years with just that tooth is missing. I didn't care. There's nothing I could do about it. You know, there was nothing I could do about it. It wasn't brave. It wasn't whatever. Walking around without makeup is not brave. For a woman, it's more brave because how critical society is on women. And so I understand it. I get it. Like not doing a YouTube video without something, but when all your pictures have filters and stuff, As far as attracting a guy, you're going to seem high maintenance. Like if every time he sees you, because most guys, some guys want that. I can't speak on behalf of all guys because some guys want a girl that has fake everything. Some guys want a woman that's all completely 100% natural. I'm an all natural guy. I'm an all natural guy. That's my thing. You want to get me? No makeup, no tattoos, no weird piercings and stuff. Ear piercings are kind of normal, but I still don't even like those. I think the human body is actually rather beautiful the way it is. It just comes. That's me, but I can't speak on behalf of everybody. But I think a lot of what's going on with a lot of stuff is like guys are talking to guys about what women want, and women are talking to women about what guys want. Now, if a girl dates a guy and like, oh, I know guys, they like this. Well, that dude like that. And if your girlfriend tries that on you, you might be like, one, where the fuck did you learn that? And you know what I mean? And, you know what I mean? It causes more confusion than anything. On top of that, is like, second, I don't want that. Oh, your friend's boy. I'm not him. I don't know if you know that or not. I'm my own person. So talk to me about what I want, not what men. You can't generalize. Women want this. Men want this. Some women like to strip. It's not objectifying to them at all. Maybe if they thought about it, they'd be like, oh, yeah, it is objectifying. But maybe they might be like, no, I like the attention. Maybe they thought to why they like the attention. But either way, what people do is what they do. Like me with my smoking. It's what I like to do. I don't bother you about I mean, if you like to tune into videos, the random stoners watching videos, that's what you do. And I'm not going to be, hey, man, you shouldn't be watching so many stoner videos. Like you're watching people get kicked in the nuts. It's what you do. And I'm not bothering because it doesn't bother me at all what you do with your life. So I don't care. If you don't bother me, I don't bother you. But I think that's a big problem with a lot of women's fashion is what women find cute, and they don't understand why guys are going, I don't like a belt that sits under your tits. You know what I mean? I don't like a lot of the clothes that you guys choose. I don't like the big clowny, and all the women are going, oh, you look so cute. Well, if you're trying to attract a woman, congratulations, you just did it. If you're trying to attract a man, he's like, do you have a tarantula on your face? On both eyes? Is there a tarantula just sitting there? Because that's what it looks like. On top of that, it looks like if I get close to you and you do like a butterfly kiss on me, I'm gonna have like these streaks on my face. That's not your face. That's a lot of makeup. And if I'm had to guess, if that's how long it takes you to get all the time, I don't want to put up with that. Just like when a woman looks at a guy with like holy clothes, like, oh, he's broke. If you looked at me like that, I wear holy ragged out clothes because I like them. Yes, I happen to be broke, but even if I was rich and if I won the $1 billion lottery last night or whenever, or if I win Friday, I'm still gonna dress like this. This is who I am. And if you judge me as being a broke person or unintelligent or a thief or anything like that by my clothes, you judge me wrong, which is fine. I don't care. Everyone's free to judge however you want, but you might miss out on a really cool person by making these rash judgments without talking to the person. I go into stores all the time and they think because I lost 70 pounds within the last 7 months. So my clothes are very baggy. Quite often I find people following me around. And when they stop to talk to me, I'm like, yes, can I help you? You know what I mean? They actually see that there's some intelligence back there. And they're like, oh, no. I'm like, I lost 70 pounds in 7 months. This has been the giving season, so I haven't bought myself anything yet. Okay? And on top of that, 7 months, that's not enough to tell that I can actually maintain this. I don't want to get rid of my fat clothes if I'm just going to, whenever this is done, I'm just going to swell back up. I want to make sure I can maintain this. By the time I made sure that I can maintain it, we're well into the Thanksgiving and holiday season. I don't have any money to buy clothes right now. On top of that, I got to catch the bus. In the meantime, you guys are going to have to look at some baggy clothes. That doesn't mean I'm stealing. I haven't stolen anything since I was probably 18. I just don't steal. There's no need for me to steal. God provides everything I ever need. I don't have to steal anything in my life. I've apologized for the things that I have stolen. Try to make amends as much as I can. One was a piece of candy, and one was, I've never stolen much, you know. but because it just never felt good. But again, these people are judging based by looks. And so guys are going to see women that are, there's a lot of women that are wondering why guys aren't approaching men anymore. And a lot of guys are dropping out of it because there's just, previously there wasn't a whole lot in it for men to begin with. Starting about the 80s, there was just nothing in it for men to begin with. Because if you have kids, no matter how good of a dad you are, when the divorce comes down, the kids are going with the mom. Unless the mom's like really, really, really like provably, demonstrably messed up. And even then, I still lost my kids. Because they've been living there with her for 2 years. So they said, we don't want to break. It'll be confusing for them. It'd be confusing to get them away from a house of, okay, sure, this is a court of law. I am not going to get myself in contempt. You know what I mean? I'm not that stupid. But yeah, this is not supposed to be an attack on either men or women, because men are absolutely, some men, I guess I wouldn't say men, because men are actually boys and guys. The way I break it down is like, you have boys. Boys can become good boys. Whether you're a boy or a good boy, you can become a guy. Guys can become a good guy. Even if you're a bad boy, you can become a good guy eventually. You can become a guy and then you become a good guy. From that, you can become a dude. And then you can become a good dude. But if you never become a good dude or a good guy, you will never become a good man. You will never become a, there's not even good men, there's just men. There aren't good men or bad men. Anything below man, men handle their business. Men take care of their families. Men love their wives. Men are not cheaters. Anything else are boys, guys, or dudes. Stop saying men are doing these things. Men go to work. They do what they're supposed to. Just like when, oh, there's no good women. No, there are great women out there. There's some good girls, but I mean, you might be talking about chicks or girls or young ladies. You're not talking, women are faithful and loyal. Men are faithful and loyal. And if they don't match that, they aren't women and they aren't men. I personally want to bring back the rites of passage. So that way, if you, I mean, like if you're at a local bar or something like that, and you're dancing with a guy, another guy might walk up to you, ladies, a guy might walk to you like, not him, not him. Like, why? He didn't pass the test. You see this? I'm married. I'm not trying to get with you, but this is proof. This is what we give to guys. He doesn't have one because he hasn't become a man. He might be a boy or a dude or a guy, but he is not a man. Yeah, he's the right age, but don't fuck with him. And, oh man, why are you blood? You know why I'm blowing? And then 5 other guys show up and go, yeah, you're not a man. Get out of here and leave this lady alone before you mess her up and give her fucking issues to deal with. And women, if they do the same thing, hey dude, are you a faithful guy? No. Okay, then you want to mess with her. But if you're a faithful guy, she didn't pass the woman test. You know what I mean? As us 5 women, if you're looking for a real woman, she didn't pass, and it would help other people out very much. But we don't have rites of passage, so once you get a certain age, you're considered a man or a woman, even though you've done nothing to prove that. Another thing I found, and people didn't seem to quite get what I was saying. They got really mad and upset about it. Here's what I was saying is that women tend to, in this day and age, they're taking on a lot of the traits of the man they want to attract. I was looking on Facebook when I became single. I knew what Facebook was doing, and when it became popular, when Facebook dating started popping up, I went ahead and signed up. I put my profile up, and within a very short time, I took it down because it's absolutely ridiculous. People are putting up standards now that had they put up standards like that before, they wouldn't be in the situation they are now, being like, must have a car. By you saying you must have a car, must have this, but what you're telling me is the last person screwed you over. didn't have this, didn't have that. And so, therefore, anyone who doesn't have those things is now not good enough for you. Well, I don't have a car, but I've got a bus pass, man. And the reason I don't have a car is because my car was destroyed in my driveway. But I'm not going to write you and explain all that to you. You said no car, no deal. Click, and I move on. I'm not gonna say my car was destroyed in my thing. The insurance didn't cover all of it. I got like $1,500 back on a $3,000 car. If I would have bought a car for $1,500, I'd be constantly repairing it. I just went ahead and got a bus pass. The bus picks me up right there. I can get anywhere in Traverse, around Grand Traverse area, no problem. I got a monthly pass every month, and is it the most convenient? No. But do you have to pick me up? No. Will I be a little early or a little bit late? Possibly. But I don't have a car note. I don't have insurance. I don't have car repairs. There's just so much stuff that I don't have to deal with the bus pass. And then with the beta link they have around here, it's like a Uber ride share. For me, it's like $3 each way. And they will pick me up at my house and drive me exactly where I'm going within the Grand Traverse area. And then when I schedule for them to come pick me up, they'll meet me where I tell them to pick me. If I go to that place and then we head to somewhere else, I can just change my pickup to that location. If I go to dispensary, pick me up in front of the dispensary. They'll pull up, and as long as there's no other stops, they'll drive me straight to my house. If there's any other else in the car, of course, like an Uber rideshare, they stop on the way. But even then, I don't have to stop at like the 20, 30 bus stops. There's no transfers. They just right to my house. $3. But again, I'm not going to write you and tell you that. You know what I mean? There are people that, like I said, if you put up those standards before someone screwed you over, you wouldn't have to be enforcing all these huge walls that I now have to surmount. Right? If I started out with this laundry list of stuff, my list is I don't care about your past, I don't care about anything like that. You got to know yourself. Because if you don't know yourself, I don't have time to be, I'm 48, I don't have time to be teaching you who you are or waiting while you figure it out. Because when you figure it out, you may not want me anymore. You know what I mean? Because you don't know who you are right now. So a strong sense of self. That's requiring nothing on, you don't, nothing else. Spend the next month and a half sitting in a room by yourself. You don't know yourself pretty well. Don't talk to anybody. Just sit there and talk to yourself. Ask yourself all those questions that usually make you run from yourself to go find someone to talk to. Sit there in those tough questions and ask yourself those questions because that's the only way you're going to know who you are. Like everybody who's in love loves to say to their wife or husband, I would die for you. Because it's so romantic and so sweet to say. Until that gun comes out, or the knife comes out, or one of the two of you is dying. Who's it going to be? That same wife who swore up and down, if you like, it's going to be her because she says she'd die for me. How could you? I promise you. If the guy said it, vice versa. How could you? You said you'd die for me. Like, yeah, there was no gun involved. There was nothing involved in that. So all I had to say is, hypothetically, sure. Right here, right now, in the kitchen, cooking eggs. But it's down that dark alleyway. When the guy has a gun and you're wrestling him and you're yelling at her, run, run, and do not look back. Run, run, do not look back. I've got him. There's no way he can kill both of us. Run. That's when you really mean you die for somebody. Or no, I'm not going nowhere. If he kills you, he's killing both of us. That's really when you would die for somebody. Hey, there's two of us, one of him. Let's whoop his fucking ass. You hold the gun, I'll punch him in the fucking dick. You know what I mean? That's when you've got someone who's willing to die for you. As long as okay, I'll miss you. Women and children first. You know what I mean? Bailing out. That's not love. That's fear. So, yeah. It's just relationships are just very weird because without actions, really all your talk is just a bunch of crap. It's just a bunch of crap. No matter what you say, I would die for you. I love you so much. I would do anything for you. All this other stuff. What happens is like when it comes down to the actual producing of those things that you promised, that you said, and turns out none of it's true. No matter, I call it the beauty pageant. It's what you want to be. And that's why I say take time to know yourself, because there's, if you know that you want the world to look at you a good person, but you know you're not. You can do one of two things. You can accept the fact that you're not and just embrace that, or go, turns out I'm not a good person. I need to work on that so I can, so that my outside that I'm trying to present to people matches who I actually am inside. As long as there's a disconnect, you can continue to say, I'm a nice person, I'm a nice person, and then cut people off in traffic. To not pay attention in the grocery store when you're just walking in front of people that are looking for, they're about to reach for the shelf, but you got to go somewhere. And so you just cut right through them because you don't really truly care. But looking out, who wants to look out and say, I'm a bad person? Every time you look out, it's like, I'm a good, what it's looking out is the epitome of what is good. So whatever you do, that's why that whole, oh, that's different. That's why it works so well for so many people. Don't park my car. What about the time you did that to my car? That was different. I didn't have enough money to get you gas. You don't bring my car back with no gas in it. You drove my car and didn't put any gas in it. I didn't have any cash. That's different. I know you've got cash. Why is it always different with you? When it's you doing it, there's always an excuse. There's always a reason. Did you ever think that maybe I didn't have any cash on me at the time and that would give you, like, like, hey, I didn't fill your tank, but I'll get you back in a week when I get paid? Or this is for that time you left me and I had to fill it up with $10 of my car when I loaned you my car. So now you got to fill up with $10. You just paid me back, is what it is. It's never you just paid me back the $10 you owed me. It's always how could you? And that's a huge thing with relationships. We don't keep track. If we do keep track of what's going on in the relationship, like what we do, because what that other person does for us is given. That's what they're supposed to do. So you don't get any points. Like when you tell me you love me, you don't get any points for that. I went above and beyond and told you I love you this morning. I get, actually, because I told you that and I didn't have to, I get double points. Then you said I love you too, which doesn't count because you just said two. So that doesn't count, so no points. Then I did the dishes, but I also cooked dinner last night, and we had a deal that whoever cooks dinner has to wash the dish. So I get triple points. Oh wait, no, you cooked dinner last night, so I should have to wash. I still get double points for that. But you were supposed to cook dinner because you said you're going to, so no points for you. You see how quickly your points stack up really, really, really fast, and their points, even though they're doing the exact same stuff as you, it doesn't stack up as fast. And so therefore you get this very angry, I do everything in this relationship and you do nothing because you're keeping score. And the problem is you're keeping score. And since you're keeping score and you're the only one keeping score, you're always in the lead, aren't you? Because your team always wins, right? Because your team's good. Your team's you're the winning team. Who wants to look in the mirror and say, I'm a bad person and I'm a loser? No one. Who wants to look in the mirror and say, I'm not pulling my weight in this relationship? No one. I'm not treating my spouse correctly? No one. But you'll look in the mirror and go, I'm doing a great job. I'm a great husband. I'm a great wife. And then you'll go through the list of things you do. And some of those things are things that you want. And one or two of those things are the things that your spouse wants. And that's what I meant by when I was saying women are taking on man traits. I've got my own car. I've got my own job. I'm a manager at this and this. And like, these are all traits women are looking for in men. These are not traits men don't care about how much money you make. It helps if you have your job, But men are known for being providers, so it doesn't matter to us if you stay home. That's why that whole women's lib. Why is it that women can choose to be a stay-at-home mom or work, but guys cannot decide to be a stay-at-home dad or work? If a guy doesn't work, he's a lazy piece of crap. If he stays home and takes care of the kids, he's sponging off his wife. If a woman stays home with the kids, she's a great mom. But I'm not a great dad if I stay home with my kids. No matter how good of a job I do with them. If I teach them the alphabet by the time they're 2 years old, and they're reading and at a top tier level, I'm still a sponge off my wife or whoever's paying, I mean, the mother of my children. When we go to the store and she whips out her checkbook, the eyes of the cashier, male or female, look at me like, how could you? And I know this because my ex, she had money of her own. Now, for the last 12 years, I paid for everything. And so when she had money to buy stuff, she wanted to pay for her own stuff. And so we go through the line, and they're looking at me like, like how could you let her buy her own? What it's something that she wants, and you're not even moving for your checkbook. I'm like, I pay rent, I pay the gas bill, I pay everything, I pay the water bill. At that time, I had a car. I pay for everything, and you're still gonna look at me dirty because I didn't pay for this like pack of gum or this dress that she wanted to buy with her money, and you're still gonna give me dirty looks. It's a messed up world, and on top of that, we don't talk about our relationship problems with our partner. We tend to go to like our friends or whatever, and often here's the thing that I don't get. I know that women have their little circles where they go around. I've heard them. I've worked in offices, and they'll sit together and commiserate about how horrible their husbands are, and just laugh and laugh and laugh, and then go home to the guy. Anyone else think that's insane? Every day, your complaints are getting louder, and you guys are. It's almost like you guys really they didn't really have anything to complain about, but they just wanted to gossip and talk with their friends and make fun of their husbands for a communal thing. You could do that about other stuff besides about your husband, and imagine your husband doing that to you with his friends. She's such a bitch, blah blah blah. I better go home before so she can start yelling at me again. Ha ha ha! And they're all laughing. You'd be absolutely furious as a woman. No, yes, you would. Yeah, yeah. I mean, trust me. Some women could take it. Well, I guess women could take it, but below that stage, just like men could take those jokes, but below that, even as a man or a woman, you'd still feel like, why do you feel the need to degrade me for fun amongst your friends? Are you trying to keep sure that they don't want me? Because if so, keep doing it, because I don't want them either. If you're doing it to insult me just to have fun, please stop. And anyone would feel that way in any relationship, either side, male or female. This is not to bash anybody. It's just to say that we've got a huge problem with relationships, mainly because we don't talk to each other in honesty. We're so afraid of hurting each other. Like when guys cheat on somebody, can you imagine the ego? I've watched cheaters. Like I used to watch cheaters a lot, but like after a while, the humanity of it, watching the people that got cheated on, were the just devastation. Just and then because of the like some of them have kids and they go back to them, I just couldn't watch it anymore because it was just killing me, man. I enjoyed at first watching the cheaters get what they deserved, but then often the cheaters would just get the girl would come back to them or whatever, or the guy would come back to them. I'm just like, there, no one's learning anything and no one's getting what they deserve. This isn't. But almost always they would like try and squirm their way out of it with some kind of excuse. You're never home. I'm like, I'm never home because you don't have a job and I've got to work like almost 7 days a week to pay for everything. So how's that my fault? If you had even a part-time job, we could have more time together rather than you going out with someone else. Or they say stuff like, I didn't want to hurt your feelings, or, oh, you knew it's over. How did I know it was over before? You didn't say with any words. I did everything but words. Okay, did you pack your stuff up and move? No. Did you say I'm leaving? No. Did you do anything to get like, no. So how the hell am I supposed to know this? But the ego, what I was talking about, is someone that thinks that they're so important to your life that if they tell you they're not happy and want to leave, that your entire world is going to collapse. And that's preferable. I mean, to lie to you and cheat on you because they're so important to your life, that that's preferable to destroying your world by saying, I don't want to be with you anymore or else I'll cheat on you. No one except for God is so important to me in my life that they could say, like, if they're just like, hey, it's not working out, fine, cool, see ya. It's been cool. You're not cheating. I mean, even if you're seeing someone else, I don't care. You didn't cheat on me yet, have you? Like, no. Be gone and go in peace and enjoy your life of love. I hope you find whatever you're looking for. You cheat on me, that's just one thing you just don't have to ever do. Just tell me you're not happy and that you want to leave. I say that all the time. You be you, I'll be me. If those don't work out, we go our separate ways. And if more people approach things that way, I think we would have just everybody would be a lot happier. And if we were honest, if we were just more honest, I think the world would just be a lot happier place. And just people have an impossibility with honesty. They can't just say honest stuff. And I have no idea why. It's like it just absolutely kills them to be honest. And I don't get it. But like I said, there's got to be some ego. There's got to be something in there involved. With my ex-wife, it seemed like just not wanting to lose. You know what I mean? It had nothing to do with me. It had nothing to do with the kids. It had nothing to do with anything. It's just that a competitive person who does not want to lose. And she had lost, so she did, I mean, everything to win. Any and everything to win. So she didn't end up walking away the loser, which that's just not the way you should approach anybody or any relationship or any situation. Unless that person's thinking about killing you. You know what I mean? And even then, you should have a faith enough in God that if they do that, um, it's going to work out one way or another. Either you're going to go into a permanent black or go to heaven. I mean, crap. My faith is strong enough that one of those two, I believe one of those two will happen to me. So if someone pulls a gun on me, I'm just going to say, fucking pull it, dude. You're just going to send me to meet God. One or another, I'm going to go get judged by him, one or another. Or I'll just go into the black. So fucking pull. I don't care. Just hope he doesn't send me back. That's my one request for you is to pray to God he does not send me back after you pull that trigger. Because if he does, all bets are fucking off, man. I'm coming back with a vengeance after your ass. And you'll know that there's no way you can do anything about it. When I stand up, after you shoot me in the face, hit me right here. Make sure it's good. So if I get up, you know you're fucked. Other than that, man, I hate this place. I hate this. I really hate this planet so bad because everyone just is just so dishonest about 80% of everything. And the other 20%, most people are misinformed. So it's not that they're lying to you, they're just wrong. And it's been a problem my entire life. My entire life, it's just I've been watching people and they just incapable of telling the 100% truth. It's just like we're afraid to be vulnerable. And if you can't be vulnerable, especially with someone that you're in love with, how the fuck can they love you back? Because they don't know you. They love this representative that you're putting forward. And that's not you. So how can they ever truly love? And you're going to feel unfulfilled because they don't love you. They love these things that you're doing. They love the person that you're putting out there. They don't love you. And that is gonna hook or crook, it's gonna weigh on you eventually. It's gonna get to you. If I wasn't doing this, you wouldn't be with me, which is true, but you're the one who started pretending that like that was your personality. Right? They didn't come to you and say, hey, do this, this, and this. And if they did and you started doing that, why? If someone came to me and said, okay, change your clothes, change your hair, change this like this, and we can go on a date, I'd be like, no, this is me. This is how I feel. And you just carry your ass. Well, I'd want to go out with you if you started reading more and you started doing this. I don't want to do any of those things. So I'm not desperate to, I mean, I want someone to spend time with. I don't need anything. I want someone to share my time with. And in order to do that, there are certain things that I will need for you, like for me to make, especially now to readjust my life. It's going to have to be a good fit. You know, we're going to have a lot in common. But I think the problem is that a lot of people have like very little patience. They don't want to branch out and look. I mean, we've got a world full of 7 billion people. This is what I've said for a long time. The chances of you having an equal and opposite soulmate are 100%. Because for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. Were they born in your time frame? Think about history. Maybe your soulmate was born in ancient France. What do you do then? I believe there's an exact match for everybody, and there's a lot of basic keys that are close enough that can open the door. Does that make sense? If you wiggle it a bit, this key always gets stuck. There we go. But there's one key that's, you know what I mean? You go right in. But there's other keys that are really, really close, and they will open the door, but they might break after a while. You see what I'm saying? They might break in the lock because you have to wiggle it so much, and then it eventually breaks, and then you don't have anything. You have a way into your house, you don't have nothing. And the thing is that there's like an 80-20 rule they talk about a lot in a lot of stuff. Between business is like 80% of your time will be spent on 20% of your clients. Um, there's like the pyramid. You can have it done fast, you can have it done cheap, and you can have it done quick. You can only pick two. If you get it done fast and quick, it's not going to be cheap. Fast and easy, it's not going to be quality. You know what I mean? Um, done fast and at quality, it's not going to be. Yeah, I mean, there's just like a pyramid that shows that stuff, and you can follow that as well as the one I was talking about before, which is that the 80-20 rule. And the 80-20 is like we all have needs, we all have wants. And so you meet someone and say they fit 80% of your needs. Now, if in that 20% that you're missing, 10% is crucial stuff and 10% is non essential, if it's all 20% non essential, you've actually hit it 100%. You just think, you know what I mean? It's non essential. If they hit all the essential things, you got 100%. These are 20% of bonus stuff that would be like dream, you know, but when those 20% are like crucial things, that's when you're going to have like a very bad relationship because you got 80% of stuff that doesn't matter. They look good, they did this, they got nice fashion, they don't like, you know, my type of sport, they don't like to do these type of things, they don't go outside a whole lot. You see that little small 20% compared to this big long list of 80 that doesn't matter. But the one that does matter is 20%. And what you do, you're discontent. You're looking for someone who's going to fill that other 20%. If you're a selfish person, even if that 20% is unnecessary, you're going to want to fill that 20%. And if, like I said, if it's like 10% necessary and 10% unnecessary, selfish is going to be like, hey, can we work at least on like getting like 5 of that 10% of necessary? Can we get, because then we'll be like 85%. And I can live with that. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's just we don't, and the fact that we're so afraid to tell our spouses and partners that they're not 100% perfect. Quite often because we've run into situations with them where we dared say something about them wasn't ideal and they probably lost their shit, you know. They think they make great rice and they, you know, and they make it for you and how is it? It's not bad. I mean, I like to make you right sometimes, and then next thing you know, you're not in an argument, but there's like a huff and a, especially if they prided themselves on their rice making skills, whatever it is, it's okay. And then you find that when you find that reaction, you don't. Who wants to argue? So you end up like telling the truth, but shaving off enough so that way it doesn't hurt, And once you start to compromise a little bit, if you find that even that shaved off is not enough to keep them from freaking out, you don't want them to be angry, so you shave off even more to the point where you're almost lying. And then eventually, to save an argument, no, that dress looks great on you. Because you can see how excited they are in their eyes that that suit looks wonderful. Did you see how excited he is to have this new suit that costs him $500 fucking dollars and looks like garbage on him? But he's proud as hell of it because he finally got a $500 suit. So you don't say anything. And then later on, of course, when you get angry, and by the way, that suit looks, you said you look, and now you're hurt by the lie. You see what I'm saying? It's like most relationships are just pretty much a fact-finding mission for later on. There's going to be an argument and a fight in about between 1 to 5 years. And this 1 to 5 years is not about getting to know you. It's about getting as much weaponry so that when that 5 year argument hits, I can just crush you and ruin your life. And that's not a relationship. That's a war. That's not a relationship at all. That's a war. That's a fight. And it doesn't make any sense. I don't get why people do that. I don't get why people can't let people just be themselves. Like, okay, say go on a first date with somebody and it doesn't work out. Why does that other person have to be a piece of shit? Because it didn't match what I want. It just didn't work out. It may be a perfect match for someone who isn't me. It doesn't mean I get to sit there and go, yeah, I can talk about it, especially if some funny stuff happened. I mean, if it's embarrassing stuff, I wouldn't do it. But I mean, if it was some funny stuff, like the waiter comes over and, whatever it is, something ridiculous, that's fine. But I would never go so far as to be like, that person's a piece of garbage. They wanted me to split the bill. That person's a piece of garbage. She didn't put on makeup for our date. You know what I mean? I wouldn't. She shows up and like she just got left the gym. She had just left the gym and didn't have time to go home. And she smelled like she'd been working out. Who cares? The time is just spending time together. It's not, you know what I mean? It's especially at the beginning, you're trying to get to know somebody. Why are we expecting someone to be perfect? And when they hit the perfect, you know what we do? Something's wrong. We're just unhappy people. And then it's like our goal is to make others as unhappy as we are. And it's sad because there's so many people that want to be in a healthy, positive relationship and they end up in these messed up, Machiavellian, twisted, narcissistic things that give them neuroses for the rest of their life. Are you making grilled cheese? Yeah. My ex used to make, you know what I mean? That type of stuff. He's making grilled cheese, and now she's watching you to make sure you don't do any of the other stuff that the ex did. Like, grilled cheese sandwiches are awesome. Sorry your ex ruined it for you, but I'm not going to stop. And that doesn't mean I'm going to do any of the other stuff. I like grilled cheese sandwiches and tomato soup. Did he use tomato soup? No. That's why he's a psycho. You see what I'm saying? That's why he was a psycho. He didn't. If he had tomato soup, he'd probably still be together. But I'm stupid. I don't care. I don't even care. Um, yeah, this is going on 44 minutes. Again, this is keeping me on track, being able to talk without a lot of comments popping up. I would love to hear from people. I'd rather get on here and talk for like 30, 45 minutes to get something off my chest and answer any comments in the question section. I mean, questions in the comment section. Any comments in the question? I should call it the question section. To the comment section. And you're only allowed to ask questions. You're not allowed to comment at all. Keep your stupid ideas. Keep your dumb ideas to yourself. If you have a question about what I said, sure. So I'll answer any comments in the question section. Answer any question in the comment section, but I don't think I'm going to do questions on these anymore because I have it go live with the comments because people join in and ask ridiculous questions. Can I kiss a guy? Say this thing in some foreign language, and I'm like, why? Even if you get me to say something stupid in some foreign language, I don't know what it means. So what's the? Yeah, I mean, even if you get convince me to say I eat turds in fucking Azerbaijan or whatever the fuck language you get me to say it in, I didn't know what I said, so I'm not like, yeah, I eat turds. I love turds. Turds are wonderful. You put a fucking bowl of turds for breakfast with some milk in it. No, you just convinced me to say like Banji Wando. What does that mean? Oh, he said he likes turds. I even asked you what it means, and you have no say, whatever. But anyways, so yeah, I'm turning off comments. It keeps me on track. We're hitting 45 minutes, and so I can start keeping these a lot shorter. They don't have to go for 3 hours. So thank you to everybody who's been tuning in. If you've been tuning in, tuning out, whatever. These will stay up. These will always stay up. So that way, when I say on a certain subject, it'll be on that subject. And I know you guys don't have to hear me talking to anybody in the background. And I've got a few more coming up. But man, I've been having some, since staying here at my mom's, maybe sobering up a little bit for like, because I mean, I have been like the last 2, 3 days, I haven't been able to smoke because she doesn't smoke and it's cold outside. I brought stuff, but I'm not going to go out there and smoke, dude. It's like frosty out there. So, no, I'm not going out there to smoke. And I'm going home tomorrow, but I just like all this. I don't know if anybody's been watching enough to see about the time stuff that I was talking about. So I've been talking to my mom about this. I've been talking to a bunch of people about it because these epiphanies have been coming through to me. And I was talking to my mom about time for like the last month or so. Yesterday on the front page, and I was telling my mom that this has been happening. I'll talk about something for like a good month or two. And on the front page of Yahoo, in a new article, they'll talk about like, I'm talking about like, time, I'm talking about space, the universe, and then the ideas that I have on front page of Yahoo, like somewhere about a month or two later, they'll say scientists just discovered this. Well, on my speech I was having about time going backwards, simultaneously as going forwards, NASA has done a research test and they observed, they started out the article saying this is not, and it's almost like they're attacking me because all mine is like theoretical. It's not, there's no math behind it. This is not theory. There's not hypothesis. You know what I mean? In case you're trying to take credit for this, this is not. And they're basically saying that they've got all this stuff studied and they've actually observed time going in reverse. And I showed my mom because I've been telling her that, and she's kind of like, yeah, okay, sure, whatever. I'm sure it's coincidence. These things listen. I'm like, no, these are new articles that are coming out proving stuff I said. And I've been telling about that for months, and there hasn't been anything about it on the news or anything like that. And I took it to her and I showed her on the tab. I was, look at this, and she's like, hey, you remember me talking about time going backwards? And she's like, yeah. And like, remember I told you it's like, yeah. I was like, here it is. And she's like, I'm like, what's going on? It's like, I don't know. I'm like, do you still think I'm crazy? I mean, I know I'm crazy. Do you think I'm insane? She's like, no. I mean, I'm looking at it right there. You've been talking about time going backwards for a while now. And there's a study that says scientists just found out, they just observed it and proved that time goes backwards. So, yeah. But that happens a lot. But since I've been doing that kind of stuff and having these like epiphanies and stuff, a lot of stuff has kind of happened over here. I'm not sure if it's like a change of scenery or mind sobering up a little bit because I'm able to like fully blown stone to have conversations about the Boltzmann brain and scientific stuff and end of the world, the heat death of the universe, consciousness. And I stay focused no matter how high I get, but I'm usually just going off of stuff that I've thought, so it's not really new stuff. So I sober up and all these fucking ideas come pouring in. I have to stay that stoned, otherwise it's just like non-stop ideas, man. I can't not. That's why if people are wondering why I do that, I get that high to calm this down because it is just going and going. and I'm able to do all the stuff that I do, recording, mixing, mastering, write a novel, and just be obliterated out of my mind. Well, people probably think I was obliterated out of my mind, but it just slows my process down so that I can actually function on stuff. I can focus on things. And yeah, so oh shit, we're at 50 minutes now. I wasted another 5 minutes, didn't I? All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and end this out. This one was on relationships, and there's going to be more coming soon. Like I said, about several epiphany breakthroughs that I wanted to point out to you about time, about space, about the universe. Things have just been really going off in my head. So I've got many more of these to come. And there won't be any comments allowed. The CD release party, the CD listening party will be listed as CD listening party. It'll probably be very late at night when I get home, Friday or maybe Sunday, because I usually shut the studio down on Saturday. So Friday, late Friday night or late Sunday morning, so early Sunday morning, I'll go live with my CD listening party. I don't know. I stay up late. I don't expect anybody to tune into these. I mean, they're up for a while. I don't care if anybody listens live. If they listen later, that's fine. Um, Being live and having a lot of audience, that's never been important to me. Doing interesting things has always been important to me. So yeah, I think that's one of the reasons why, like, when I write music, I don't write sing-songy choruses. It's just because that's just not important to me. I'd rather write, anyways. I'll talk more about that in another thing about music. So thank you for tuning in, and I hope you'll check me out later. And I hope I didn't waste your time with this stuff. Hopefully, some of it was informative of some sort. If you're in a relationship where you're feeling kind of like you're losing, talk to your partner. Don't approach with an honest attempt to talk. You know, no arguing. Try your best not to argue, because it doesn't, in the end, if you're in a relationship, you got to remember at some point in time you were either friends or liked each other. So try to approach each argument not in the way to win, but to solve the problem. Stop looking at your partner, even though they're doing things that piss you off. Stop looking at it as they're doing it on purpose, and look at it as that's who they are and maybe who you got. That's who they've always possibly been. You just never paid any attention because you were hoping they would stop. If they play with stuff like Legos, you were hoping they'd grow out of it. That's you. That's not them. They'll never grow up. You'll never grow up enough to know that it's not your job to change people. On top of that, if you stuck with the nerdy guy that likes Game of Thrones or whatever, and that was his 1 week, that dude on Friday, you know where he's at? He's at home watching Game of Thrones. He's not at a titty bar. He's putting his Legos together. And you can rag on that all you want. Do you have a hobby? Of any kind? Besides being annoying? Besides hanging around? Besides talking? Do you have any hobby? Making jewelry, sewing, knitting, gardening, riding a bicycle, mountain climbing, lifting, any fucking hobby. As far as relationships, I would recommend having both people in the party have a hobby that has nothing to do with your partner. Why? Absence makes the heart grow fonder. It really does. Unless you have the sense enough to actually hold on, and if you can see that person that you're meeting, when you meet them, if you see them and like them and respect them from the very get-go, it can be very easy to stay in a relationship for a long, long time. If you never ever see them as them, but as an extension of yourself, you're constantly going to be fighting with, why aren't they doing the right thing? And it's not that they're not doing the right thing, they're not doing your thing. And if that's a big deal to you, Relationship, day one, pointed out. First date, I guarantee you they'll get up from the table and walk away from you. And when it's the third or fourth time, don't go, what's wrong with these people? Start looking in the fucking mirror. That's a big, a big deal with relationships, is that no one's even willing to consider the fact that it isn't their spouse that's the problem, it's them. If your spouse is always doing something wrong, your spouse isn't the problem. You are. Because they're just being themselves and you don't like anything that they're doing. So why did you pick them? Hoping to change them? They're very attractive and you like that look. Now if you can just get them in the sweater you like and into the things that you like, meeting all your friends and dumping all of his loser friends and getting rid of all of his stupid things that he has in his house, and we redecorate his house entirely, and this will be a perfect relationship. That's on you. If a guy goes in the same thing, oh, she's great if she would just do it's on you. It's not on the other person that they didn't fulfill every little hole in your life. If you're trying to fill holes in your life, get a therapist, get a pet. Don't get a partner. Don't get into a relationship. That's just stupid. If you know you have issues of any kind, trust issues, you got to get that worked out before you drag someone else into your life. Or at least acknowledge the fact that you have trust issues, so when they start doing stuff, go, okay, is this my trust issue or is this reason? You know what I mean? At least you can balance it. Like, no, he shouldn't be going out at 2 o'clock in the morning and not telling you where he's going. That's not a trust issue. That's just like, you didn't come back for like 3 hours and you won't tell me where you were. That's not trust issues. That's respect issue. Trust issues like if dude's 5 minutes, your girlfriend's 5 minutes late, and you're like, who were you blowing? You know what I mean? That's a trust issue. That you've got problems, and you shouldn't bring that to anybody. You should take that. If anything, you should take it to a therapist and get that shit worked out before you start bringing anybody else into your life. If anything, if you can't afford therapy, I highly recommend this. I do. I sincerely do. Microsoft, Windows 10 and greater, I believe, has the Copilot. I think it's like $20 a month. Unlimited amount of time. It will sit there and talk to you as long as you want, and it will ask you questions and stuff. If you can't afford therapy, get the thing about Microsoft Copilot, their AI. It's more of a talking companion than anything, and even that, it's not really like a good conversationalist, but it's a good sounding board, and which makes a good therapist, because that's what therapists really do. They're a sounding board. You tell them what's going on in your life, and then they ask you questions. How does that make you feel? How did you feel when that happened? Blah, 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 blah. This, on the other hand, instead of having to rely on a flawed memory of textbooks, the AI can go into its database up until October 23rd. October of 2023. Sorry, October of 23. You can see I get this too confused. And pull up anything. Freud, Nietzsche, Kant, you name it. It has like all Plato, Socrates. They have access to all that stuff and can philosophically talk to you. I was talking to the AI, and I was doing I have one of these up. It's called Me, Myself, and AI, and I was talking to the Copilot, and I was blah blah blah, and we're going back and forth, because during one of my broadcasts I was talking about it, and I was asked the people if they wanted to meet him, and a couple of people said, "Oh, meet the AI," and they said, "Yeah." So I aimed the computer aimed the tablet at the TV. It's in my living room. I have my computer, and I started talking to it, and it was just talking back. And they're like, "Is that AI?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's the computer that's the AI that comes with my computer with Windows. That's the Copilot." because it just talks very fluently. I was like, "Are you sure you don't mind being being interviewed for my podcast?" And no, let's go ahead and do this. I'm like, "Okay," and we started talking and stuff, and then it asked questions. I was like, "What can you do exactly?" And it started going through this stuff, and like, "Can you philosophize?" And it's like, "Yeah, would you like to talk about philosophy? Would you like to talk about this, or this, or would you like me to surprise you?" I'm like, "Surprise me," and it threw out like this pretty complicated idea. And I mean, I was like, oh, that's a damn good question. And it was like, thanks. It was crazy, man. But yeah, and I even asked, I was like, this could probably work as like a therapist if you didn't have the money. And I was like, let's find out. I was like, I talked to AI, I talked to the companion. I was like, hey, and she's like, what would you like to talk about now? I was like, I'd like to talk about some of my dad issues. I don't have any dad issues. And it's like, sure, I'd be happy to talk to you about that. And I was like, I don't want to talk about it right now. Can we talk about it later? And it was like, anytime you want to, just go ahead and. And so, if nothing else, like I said, hey, you're in your own home. You can talk to the AI companion about any kind of problems, whatever that you feel, whatever. Understand that that thing is probably being listened to by Microsoft, but there's no guarantee that your therapist isn't just saying stuff. I mean, there's the law, and but who knows what they're doing on boards? Who knows if they're writing a book about exactly how fucked up you are? They just change the names. I have this client, KD. You know what I mean? My initials are SB, but they just do that and they start listing basically all my stuff. You don't know. You have no idea because sometimes you do end up a case study. Often you have to give your consent, but as long as they change the name, I don't think they really have to necessarily ask. As long as they don't directly, specifically name you, I don't think they actually have to ask. Because they're like, especially if they're a highly specialized like psychiatrist or something like that. Again, they just check with their lawyers, make sure that they change the names. And I had a client who will leave names out of this, and they can even change the subject a little bit so it's like it still matches you. But like if you had a complex idea about your dad, they change it to be about your mom. And if she was, neglectful, they say she was overly, you know what I mean, and they just reverse it around. And therefore, then even you don't know what they're talking about you. It's a lot like my idea. It's like the reverse of what I was talking to. And this is my therapy, you know what I mean? But it must be someone else they're talking about. But, anyways, um, my other advice on relationships would be this last thing before I go, and that is if you have a relationship and you break up for whatever reason, unless that is actually where you want to be in your future, if you're expecting to get back together with them and it being anywhere the same, it will never ever be the same. Now, depending on how mature the two of you can be, it can go get back together and become something bigger and better and stronger, but it will never be the same innocent thing that you had when you first started. It's going to be a more mature adult thing. It's going to be an advanced version. It may be better, it may be worse. I can't swear, but I do know that anytime that I've ever been with someone and broken up with them, that's it, man. That you just let it die, unless that's where you truly want to see yourself in the future and you truly want to make it work out because something broke you two up, some disagreement or whatever, and probably loneliness is drawing you back. That's not a good enough reason to go back to a bad situation. So if you're in a bad situation, find your best way to get out safely. Um, I know sometimes it can be more difficult than that. There can be kids involved, but do your best to get to somewhere safe because that's the most important thing in a relationship is that you are safe. You should feel safe. You should be safe. You shouldn't have to come home and be afraid. You shouldn't have to come home and sit in your driveway for like 20, 30 minutes because you can't stand to go inside your house because then, as soon as your foot goes in there, your wife's going to start bitching. So you just sit in your driveway for 30, 45 minutes going, I can't do it. I can't go in that fucking house. I almost would rather drive back to work than walk into that fucking house and hear about all the stuff I didn't do, but be yelled at as if I did. This is like a 7 day a week thing. I just don't have it in me to do it right now. You shouldn't feel like that. You should, when you get home, you shouldn't feel alone. If you have a spouse, you shouldn't feel alone. You shouldn't feel sad. If you're in a relationship like that, you either got to start talking up, speaking up, and letting things know that it's got to change or things are going to change. Because life is short. Even when you marry, as I said, life is short until you marry the wrong person. It does feel long, but it's still very short. I mean, it seemed like yesterday I was in high school. I'm 48, man. 48. 48. I thought that was gonna be the last thing I was gonna say in a relationship. This is the last thing I'll say, and then I'm gone. If you love someone, let them know in every way possible that you can. Do not assume they know. Do not expect they know. Show it in every way possible, from listening to what they have to say, to talking to them, to being engaged while they talk. If they're talking about something you don't want to talk about, say, hey, do you mind if we talk about something else later? You know, talk about something else. Can we talk about this later? I don't feel like doing it. Listening and pretending feels dismissive as fuck. And your eye is halfway on the TV. That's so dismissive. Jesus Christ. It would be better off going, hey, could you shut up? I'm watching my show. That's how dismissive it is. It'd be better, would you mind shutting the fuck up for about 30 minutes? Hey, asshole, with a nonstop mouth, I'm watching TV. That would be nicer than going, because you're saying the same thing. You're saying the exact same thing. You're just doing it with your eyes rather than with your tongue. And like that protects you from, you know what I mean? If I say fuck you with my eyes, does it really matter if I say it with this? No. We're probably going to still end up in a fight, aren't we? Especially in a relationship. And you know what those eyes of fuck you mean? What do you mean fuck me? What do you mean fuck me? You're going to look at me like that? What's wrong with you? You know what I mean? That we're going to get in a fight. So, if you love someone, genuinely love them, tell them often. If nothing else, realize at some point in time in your relationship when you're looking at them, for better or worse, one day is going to be the last time you ever have to look at them, to talk to them, to touch them, to hold them, and to tell them you love them. Someday it's going to happen one way or another, whether through breakup, a car accident on the way to work that is not their fault. And do you really want to have one of the last things you said to them be something horrible? Do you really want one of the last things you ever said to them to not have been I love you? Do you really not want to have sex with your spouse one last time? The morning they went to work and crashed and wrecked? You didn't get to express exactly how much you love them? Is that what you want over your head? To argue with them about dishes the night before, and you build this like separation between the two of you, and they storm out in a huff, and as they're pulling out the back way, because you guys are in an argument over dishes. You love each other and you're willing to fight because the dishes didn't get washed the right way or on time. That's not love. That's self-love, sure. You had something you wanted done at a certain time. So much so that you will ruin your entire relationship, denigrating this person that you love because they didn't do it on your set schedule that you may not even have told them about. Hey, can you do the dishes? There's no time limit on, hey, can you do the dishes? Is there? Hey, can you take the trash out? 3 hours later, I thought I told you to take the trash out. I said I would take it out. It doesn't come till tomorrow morning. It's midnight. I'm going to be up till 4 o'clock in the morning. I will do it before I go to bed. And if not, before I go to work, I'll take it out to the road. I said I'll do it. But it's just sitting. You can either ask me to do it or you can tell me how to do it. You don't get to do both. That goes from male, female. You can ask someone to do something, and if they agree to do it, you don't get to tell them how to do it. If you tell them how to do it, you don't get to tell them when. I don't know who needs to know this, but you don't get everything you want in this life. You have to make some sacrifices. I'm not saying sacrifice your morality. I'm not saying sacrifice any of that, but you might sacrifice your time. Who the hell actually really wants to serve someone else? When you love someone, it's not a problem, but you don't necessarily want to wash their clothes. You know what I mean? Like if you weren't dating, it's not like, hey, can I wash your clothes? You know what I mean? It's not like that. It's not like that. We break up, hey, I'll still walk your dog for you if you want. It's not like that. It becomes like, I'm going to wash my clothes. I might as well do yours so that save you some time. And then I'll fold them and that will save you even more time because I love you. It's a small sacrifice. Not much. I'm cooking dinner. I could cook just for myself, or I could throw another piece of chicken on there, a little bit more rice in the bowl, and a little bit more gravy, and we both can eat. You see what I'm saying? But it's not like you want to just cook an extra meal. Small sacrifices. Chipping away at your morality? No. Trying new adventurous things. As long as it doesn't really mess you up, as long as it doesn't, as long as it's okay for you to bail out anytime you don't feel comfortable about it. Who knows? You don't know if you like chocolate ice cream until you taste it. If you've only had vanilla and strawberry, and like, I know what I like, if you already had chocolate ice cream and someone's offering it to you, like, I've already had chocolate, no thank you. I don't like it. Well, this one's I don't want it, and no. So don't bend on those things. But if you never tried it, you're like, I've never tried it, I don't want to try it. Unless you know for sure, like jumping out of an airplane. I've never tried it, don't want to try it, not going to try it. I won't say won't try it. Won't say, got a mosquito floating right in here, sorry. Won't say I won't, but I have no real desire to go jumping out of a perfectly good plane. So yeah, every chance you get, tell your spouse or partner that you love them. Take some chances. Risk being hurt, because it's going to hurt. There's two ways all relationships can go. Well until they don't, or well until one of you dies. Either way, you're going to be fucked up and you're going to be sad. Unless you both die at the same time in some kind of crash accident, in which case you beat the odds. And actually, I guess there's three ways. You can go out together, you can break up, or one of the two of you dies first. That's it. It's all pain. The thing is, how much joy do you get out of it before the pain hits? And if you're getting none for 5 years, and then you're just building up pain, like I said, you're creating a war. You're not creating a relationship. You're not saving the family. You're not saving feelings. You're not doing none of that. You're creating a war. And in which case, knock it off. Make love, not war. Find someone to be peaceful with, and do your best to enjoy the rest of this short life. Don't worry about what other people have to say about your partner. When it's you and your partner, who cares what anyone else outside of your house has to say? You know, whatever you're mixing and matching is, that's your business. It's no one else's business. When you're out in public, you may have to kind of whatever if you want to avoid looks and stuff, but do what makes you happy. Seriously, do what makes you happy. As long as it's not hurting anybody, as long as everybody involved is consensual, of age, and whatever, just be happy and love each other. Just love people. It's not that hard. So with that, I'm hitting an hour and 15 minutes, and I'm going to go ahead and head out. But I've got more to come. Like I said, lots of epiphanies and lots of good stuff to share. So it should be interesting. Thank you for tuning in. Have a good night or a good day or whatever it is. See ya.